Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to Rangers Radio. Join myself, Fox Chair, on the show this evening is our Port and our Billy. Evening, gentlemen.
Good evening, Ox. Good evening, Port.
All right, Billy. How you doing, Ox Chair? Glad to be on.
Aye, good, mate. Good. Are we on the right place, or are we fly fishing with J.R. Hartley? Right, okay.
Aye, good, mate. Good.
Aye. Trout Masters.
Oh, God, I said. Right, okay.
Something fishy about that comment.
Nah, no. Oh, I've got loads of them, mate. I've got loads of them. You better watch you don't get battered. Right, okay. Right. Port, we've heard for you for the weekend. You're going to have your chest and have to deal with some, let's say, emotional people on Saturday afternoon. Billy, we've not heard for your good self, so go to Port first, Billy, and then you can get wound up. Port, now you've had time to reflect. What's your thoughts?
I think as a team and as a club and as a manager, mate, I just think individually and collectively, Rangers have to improve. I mean, this is not the start of the season that we all wanted. You know, I think we need to get this season back on track, mate. That's us 2 points behind already. I don't think we can afford to do that much more, mate. I think it's pretty similar to, similar start to Liverpool's almost.
Liverpool haven't won a game and we've won 3 and drawn 1, and that's similar. All right, okay. Must have been the school you went to.
What I mean, what I mean is, it's not to be expected the team to kick off, mate. I just think, the manner we're starting games, lack of creativity at times. Cholak's after a great start of the season, mate. I just think we need to do better, mate. As I said, collective, individually.
I'm not saying we're playing well, but
yeah,
come on, we're one result away from having a great start of the season. But the circumstances on Saturday, right? You take a seat and work out your arithmetic. Liverpool have drawn, right? I blame the schools, right? Billy, I'm sitting back here. Get off your chest, son.
Oh, mate. Oh, where do we go for the game, mate? Well, first and foremost, Ox, I thought we were poor in the first half. Then we got the penalty kick. Listen, they can whine and bitch and moan all they want about it, mate. It's a Stonewall penalty. And it's a goal-scoring opportunity. It's inside the box. Where it's a penalty and a red card or no, I'm not too sure about the rules, mate. But he's got his hands on him and he's pulled his jersey. It's a penalty kick, so they can argue what they want. They can see what they want to see. It's a definite penalty kick, mate. So Tavernier, great pen, 1-0 to Rangers.
Would you have been happy if that was given in the other box?
Aye, I would have, mate, because he's got his hands on him. You can't do that. You can't put your hands and pull jerseys in the box.
Bear, would you have been happy if that had been given in the other box?
No, I wouldn't have been, mate. I wouldn't have been. It was very, very, very soft.
Carry on, William.
And then we've got the refereeing scenario with Johnny Lundstrom getting sent off. I mean, that's how. I mean, the one before it was worse on Lundstrom, and the Hibs player got a yellow. Yet when a lesser challenge for Lundstrom onto the Hibs player, he deems it a straight red. And do you know what I was super disappointed about as well, mate. So-called professionals mobbing the referee to get Lundstrom sent off, but that's typical. You know what I mean? That is typical. And then we've got the elbow and Matondo. That never even was the referee never get a yellow card. And then Alfie gets his, he's throwing his arms about, and it's a straight red. I mean, there's no consistency there whatsoever. I mean, I'll be a wee bit controversial here, Ox, Port. I thought Alfie was unlucky on that one, by the way, and I've been his biggest critic with him getting sent off for stupid, silly challenges and crazy things that he's done, mate. But there's strikers out there, mate, that put their arms and elbows up all the time, and it goes unpunished. You know what I mean? And I don't think it was there was intent there to be any maliceness in it, mate. I mean, he's caught him with his hand. If he's hit him bang on the face with his elbow right into his face, mate, then you can say, right, there's intent there. But he's been trying to hold the boy off, mate, in my opinion.
Right,
so
okay. Something's fell on my foot there, Port. I think it's the blue tinted glasses Billy's wearing. I've landed my toe, mate.
I mean,
let you come in and
on
say
you go, mate.
Listen, Liz Morelos, it was a soft sending off, it was, but the big thing about it was he gave the referee a decision to make when we're already down to 10 men. He let the team down, he let his teammates down, he let the fans down, and he let himself down. Port Bear.
Indeed, mate. I think, what we've got to remember now, Alfredo's an experienced campaigner in the Scottish League. He's an experienced player in the North squad. He's 26 years of age. He's, he does really, really well at times. Actually, I still reckon he's a talisman for our team. But when Lundstrom gets sent off and the wee man comes on, he's got to be a Werox chair. What sort of situation we're in? He stays on, mate. We see that game out. There's no doubt about that. He let everybody down. He let himself down as an elite sportsman.
You'll never be able to answer that, mate. He stays on. We could have beat 4-2. You never know.
No, I get that, mate. I get that, but I think it would have been slightly easier, Oxford, because he'd have been your out. He'd have been your out ball. He'd have been somebody you could hit, and he could have held. We could have got out. But when we get into 9 men, you're stuck, and you've just got to defend. It's attack with defence, and Alfredo put himself and the Rangers team in that position.
All right.
But
all right, so you see it differently, right? That's football. That's the game. That's what it is. Billy, Mr. WC, mate. The Lundstrom, it's never a red card, and hopefully it'll get rescinded tomorrow. But the problem is the damage is done.
That's correct, mate. That's exactly correct, Ox. We can't take the 2 points back, you know what I mean? So his incompetence as a referee has cost Rangers 2 points. And that's a fact. And there's nobody out there can tell us any different. Anybody with any football intelligence at all, right, that wants to see the game openly and honestly must see that. Because see if they don't, they've no place in football. It's as simple as that, Ox. Right, and I'll tell you, there's another one I know. They were ranting and raving about the Hibs should have had a penalty. Look at that situation back again. There's a Hibs player standing in front of Tavernier, and Tavernier's got a Hibs player standing at the back of him. So he's sandwiched between 2 Hibs players, and all Tavernier is doing is holding his ground and trying to hold the guy off him like any other normal football player would do. He's sandwiched in the two of them. So how they can say that was a Stonewall penalty is beggars belief, mate. And I'll tell you, I thought Willie Collin, mate, to be perfectly honest with you, see the 2 red cards, he could not wait to run and get into his back pocket to send the Rangers players off.
I think they were fouled out before the game started, but that's just a point of view. Listen, I seen a few tackles at the weekend, Port. I seen seen the Ross County, the 2 tackles up there. I don't know if you've seen the 2, Port.
I didn't see the Ross County ones, mate, no.
Yeah, well, they're on, if you watch sports scene, they're on the last game, mate, and listen, they're arguably 3 times worse than John Lundstrom, both yellow cards, and that's what I can't get my head around. The boy with the guy that was in Bonanza, Doyle Hayes, he how's that? If Lundstrom's a red card, the man on Lundstrom's a red card, and this is why people are getting upset. The trouble with him is he wants to influence the game. Good referees are no seen. Lundstrom's is a yellow card all day long.
Well, Oxford, I watched quite a high-profile match of the weekend, Man City Newcastle, and the boy Trippier makes the exact same challenge on Kevin De Bruyne, who's
Lundstrom's is 30 yards further away from the goal, remember?
Yeah, but what I'm getting at, professional foul, Oxford, it's the exact same when a player breaks away from you, grab his shot. It's a yellow card, nothing more. The thing is, you get a game with your crazy league, we're going to use VAR halfway through the season. But down in England, they basically, the ref goes to the screen, looks at the incident and takes the red card away and changes because he's made a mistake and he's put his hands up to his mistake and puts Trippier on the yellow card. But again, mate, this may influence something later on in the season because if Lundstram stays in the pitch again, it could be a different turnout in the game. But I just think it's ridiculous, mate. The refereeing, what I've seen in Scotland in general, and I've seen a lot of stuff on social media as well, people saying the level of refereeing is like incompetence at the weekend was crazy, mate. Shocking.
Aye, I couldn't agree more, right? Billy, you feel better now you've got that off your chest?
I just one other thing, mate. It just shows you as well, mate, that I'm all for teams celebrating goals and all that, right? That's part and parcel of football, mate. But the way they celebrated their equaliser against 9 men, you think they scored the winner in the World Cup in the last kick of the ball, mate. I mean, their hatred for Rangers blinds their better judgment, mate, and that's a fact.
Tin pot.
Let me carry on. What we've got to do, mate, is when we play them at Ibrox, we need to go out and play. We need to put a tempo. We need to put 4 or 5 by them. Yeah, and that's the way we do it. And by the way, the thing I did agree with you, Billy, and I really did agree with you, is Port Bear, we did not play well in the first half at all.
No, bang on, mate. I've been looking at quite a lot of the games next year, and I just think Rangers have to be much better. See the manner we're defending at the start of the season, the way we start games, the tempo. I'm seeing a very clear pattern now, mate, that the system, the players look to be like either they're not taking the manager's instructions fully next year. I think that there seems to be a wee bit of a fitness issue for me as well. I say that, there's no understanding or cohesion with the current squad, mate. I'm just not seeing it. Some of the players who are out of form, clearly, are still getting a start because we're short in a few places, so we can't drop anyone to let other guys get a chance. The young boy Redvan, international player, just can't. The manager seems scared to use him, mate. Because obviously he's lack experience. I
don't think he's fit enough yet, mate.
Yep, and basically Rangers have to show, for me, intensity, composure, confidence, mate. You have to be brave in both boxes, play through the lines, and movement has to be better. It's really important, mate. But we just can't. We need to get this sorted quick next year.
Oh, we'll get a game tomorrow night, mate, and the best way to come back is win. Right, so we're part Sunday, we're part Saturday, Billy, it's gone. It's a big game tomorrow night, mate. Big game tomorrow night,
Oh, it's huge, buddy, huge. As the Ridge man says, the biggest game of the season, and it isn't half, by the way. We're getting over there where the carrot of the Champions League, mate, dangling right in front of your noses. And it's all about us if we turn up on the night and do what we're meant to do and play girly and play football. But it's massive tomorrow night, mate. It's the biggest game of the season. We can sit down and say, but if we don't go through, we're in the Europa League group stage anyway. But we don't want to be in the Europa League group stage. We want to be in the Champions League, testing ourselves against the top teams and the top players in Europe. So it's massive.
Okay, so we're going to hear from the manager and we're going to hear the Port report. Hear the Port
cool,
report,
man.
see if he's changed last week. It used to be the Cook report, now it's the Port report.
The Cook report.
Right. They're both dodgy. But we're going to open the phone lines and then we're going to hear from the manager talking about tomorrow night's game. So let's hear from you.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show. It's your platform. Let's hear from you.
If you are involved in football, I was involved as a player in Champions League. I win the Champions League. I coached in Champions League. Every time I hear the tune, something special is happening with me. And I'm sure all the players who are being involved in the tournament and all the players who listened to the song last week for the first time, it brings emotions because it's at such significance the tune and playing in Champions League, because it's, I think, the best club tournament in the world to be involved in, and that's for everyone, for the fans, for the club, for the team, the players, my staff, myself. It's something special, and you'll never. That never goes away. I mean, if I've won it in Paris 2006, which is one of my proudest achievement in football. I played Champions League with Feyenoord, my team, after so many years, and nothing will make me even prouder to bring Champions League back to Ibrox and with the group stages.
Today, the big news today is Alfredo Morelos. Can you just bring us up to speed with how you came to the decision to not include him in your squad and the process that took place?
Well, the process was, that we're playing a lot of important games at the moment. I think it's, for me, always the case as a manager to bring the players with me, which I think they are ready to play. And for me, that was the moment I didn't include Morelos. It's as a person, it was a hard decision. As a manager, it was an easy one because we are here to represent our club and to get into the Champions League tomorrow evening. And that, in my eyes, was the best to take the squad we brought tonight.
And do you think this is just for the midweek? Is this something that's going to go on into the weekend, or is it just wait and see what happens?
Well, I think we wait and see what happens. I think the biggest factor in that is Alfredo himself. So we have to see how the coming days, weeks will go.
I mean, is it possible that he might leave the club in this window?
I think he has to show, and not only, he should show me he wants to play for Rangers. I know he wants to play, but to play for Rangers, you need to have a certain level, mentally, physically. And at the moment, I think he's not ready to play.
Is it true that you consulted some of the senior players on this decision before coming?
No, I made the decision myself. Of course, we have a leader group. I speak with the leader group quite often to talk about many things. So I always keep in contact with them.
Is it a situation you could do without ahead of such a critical game?
Well, of course. I mean, it's you have to decide who to bring. You see, I have many players in my squad I am responsible of. Many players who want to play, who work hard, and who will do everything tomorrow on the pitch to be successful for this team, for this club. So for me, that's why I took this 23 players.
It's not had a negative impact in the squad, has it? Are the players still focused?
No, we are very focused. Of course, we trained without Morelos the last days. The players are training well. We prepared for tomorrow. We had good meetings. Tomorrow we have the final meeting to prepare for PSV. And for us, for me, it's a decision I made. But looking forward to the task ahead tomorrow, and the same is the same feelings my players have at the moment.
The situation from today puts a lot more pressure on Antonio's shoulders to lead the line. How do you think he's handled the task of leading the attack for the club, and especially going at such a big game tomorrow?
Well, I think the pressure is on all our shoulders. We are here as a club, as a team. I think Antonio's done really well. He's got a positive impact on the team with his performances, with everything he does on the pitch, of course, with his goals, because, we need goals to win games. So I'm very happy with the performances Antonio made for this team.
The last result the team had away from home in terms of victory was in Dortmund. I suppose that's a huge template for you to look back on for tomorrow night and try and take inspiration from it.
It's been a while, Dortmund, but I think it's, we had a great result there. First game away, of course, the 4-2 we brought back to Ibrox. And, I think the belief to achieve something great started in that game with the performance we had against Dortmund and all the teams after that. But, in football, the most important game is always the next one. And for us, it's PSV. We are aware of the threat they have, how strong they are at home. And we are prepared and ready for the game tomorrow.
Can I just ask you what you learnt from the first leg that maybe you can exploit tomorrow night here?
Well, I cannot say to you now. I mean, it's of course I know the players, I know the team really well. of course, the way they played against us last week gives me more info about the way they want to attack, even more than studying the games, because you play against them at Ibrox. So yeah, of course, we've seen many things we can exploit, but also things we have to be aware of, because that's what kind of game it was last week. And ready for a big game and excited as well.
Can I ask for just one spot of clarity on Alfredo leaving him out? Was the red cards against Hibs the instigator for that, or is it something that's been building for a while?
Something that was building up.
You know, that the club should cut its losses with Alfredo. What would you say to that?
Well, I mean, everyone has their opinions. They're entitled, of course. Graham is I think a great man, a great manager. I think a manager who has Rangers in his heart. So, but as I said before, we deal with it internally and speak with Morelos and just wait and see what will happen in the coming weeks. But of course, it's a signal that he's not here, and a signal I had to make to Morelos, but also to my team.
Could we get an update on where the situation is with Ben Davies, John Souttar, Glenn Kamara, and Kemal Roof, if possible?
Kamar and John Souttar didn't travel. Ben Davies didn't travel as well. Kamara's back in the squad, so he's available for tomorrow. And I think apart from that, everyone has traveled.
Are they long-term injuries? Do you know how soon they'll be back? The other players
well, not short. They will not be back in the coming days or weeks. And that regarding John and Kamar and Ben Davies, hopefully he will join us in the next weeks again in training.
Hi, Gio. Just in terms of other transfer business you might look to do, how important would qualification be in terms of you then be able to get into the transfer market to either add to the squad or to perhaps even replace Alfredo if that situation arose?
Well, for me, it's not about try to go in Champions League to get more players in. I mean, we're aware that the transfer window is open for 9 days. So we have to be ready because so many things have happened in the last days of the transfer window. So my objective is to win tomorrow, to go in group stages and bring very positive things back to the club. That's the only thinking I have at the moment.
And also, how important a step is it for Rangers as a club to make that next step into the Champions League, having got to Seville? Champions League is the level they have to reach next.
Well, as I said before, it's the level we want to compete in. Of course, we have to qualify for it. So that's why we're in qualification now. We have the chance to qualify tomorrow when we have a positive result against PSV. And of course, it will bring so many good things to the club. I mean, it's obviously that everyone wants to be involved. And we just have to make sure, and I'm really aware of my players, focused and doing everything tomorrow possible to get us through.
Does it feel fair that PSV could rest in the weekend and you had an emotionally and physically demanding game?
Well, it's football. We're here to play games, and it's not something we wanted. If we asked for something and we didn't get it, it's different. But we're just here to compete. My players are used to playing many games in the season, twice a week. We almost play those season twice a week. And yes, it was a demanding and physical match on Saturday. But we're here, we're strong, we're ready, and we're ready to go again tomorrow to give everything on the pitch.
Well, thanks for that, Fox. Billy, what you back with us?
Yep.
Yeah. Can I just ask, Willie, if you come on up, can you give us a phone back in, mate? Because of your phone setup, mate, we'll catch you. Do please, Willie, phone back in. We'd like to hear from you being a referee, mate. Get your thoughts. Right, obviously the big story is Alfredo Morelos and Port. I'll come to you. I mean, you're not a slim lad yourself. You're built for comfort like myself, not for speed. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
But he's a professional athlete, mate. What's your thoughts?
Look, mate, I'm thinking back to where I played, and all right, I never played at their level last year, right? But
you done no bad, yeah.
I done all right, and that wouldn't be acceptable, mate. It would not be acceptable. I would have get probably fined for showing up at pre-season in that condition for a start. I think what's clear with Gio, and it looks like he's fed up, mate. And I think everybody's now going to question his commitment to Rangers, his professionalism, his attitude, his physical condition. There's a lot of things, mate, that you have to do. The basics of being a footballer at any level last year, and these are the things that managers and your teammates, your fans will all be looking for. Look, mate, he's an awesome player when he's fit, and his attitude at times has been on point. He's a top European goal scorer. He leads your line incredible, in my opinion. But last year, professionalism, attitude, physical condition, mate. These are just three minor things that he has to get right.
We'll be joined by William. Evening, Willie. How are we doing, mate?
Hi, Ox. All right. Glad to hear you back. That community service is a killer, isn't it? It's murder.
The next time I'm not taking a community chest, mate. I'm going straight to jail.
Well, Bridgeman says we're having a lip round to get you a better lawyer. Can't be missing you for a whole week.
The Petrocelli, mate.
Aye.
Man's lawyer. That was Bridges, man. Right, okay. Willie, what's your thoughts, mate? What are you on for Yoni?
I want to talk about Mr. Willie Collum. Well, when the news came through that Bobby Madden was leaving Scottish football, going down to England, I've never heard of that before. And my take on that was that there's an agenda concerning the SFA and Rangers, and Bobby Madden was not going to take part in that agenda. So he wanted to continue refereeing, and he said, well, I'm off. That's right, you can keep it. I'm not going to take part in your agenda. And a few weeks ago, there was a chat on the show about, is it the league or is it European football? What's for priority? And I was thinking, are we going to be allowed to win the league? And then you see that at the weekend. The shenanigans have started already. He just killed that game. It was a shocking decision, sending Lundstrom off, and just killed the game. And then, of course, you've got Morelos. They were baiting him. The boy stuck his elbow in Morelos' back. They were at him. They're taking turn about, having a go, because they know what he's like. But Morelos is obviously a difficult, he's one of these players that's difficult psychologically. You've just got to be careful. And it's difficult, I think, for a manager. That's where he earns his money, dealing with players like that. Their ego and their temperament. These players are so difficult to deal with. And I think he's just went right off the scale of Morelos, where he was, before. And then he was in great behaviour for a long, long time. And then he fell out of the team, and he was petulant. And then it all just came together. And the boy stuck it up. I mean, he doesn't know if he's got an elbow in the back, if he's been punched in the back or what. It's right in front of the linesman. But the linesman was too busy drinking out a puddle to see that. You see? As soon as Alfie threw his arm back, the flag's up right away. Oh, hey, come on. Hey, pal, get him off. Red card, get him off. Violent conduct, get him off. Couldn't get involved quick enough.
Right,
I'm amazed that we came out of the game with a draw. I'm really amazed.
I don't think I can argue with anything you've said about the refereeing on Alfie, but obviously you've refereed. There was a yellow card all day long, and I believe it's just been announced it's been rescinded. I'm picking that up.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been rescinded, and it's not a yellow card, which it was all day long. Would you agree with that, Willie?
Absolutely. I heard you mention the two tackles in the Ross County. They were shocking tackles.
Oh, I know.
I mean, that was assault.
The last time I seen tackles that bad, it was Porton Bridge going after two back. Somebody dropped a ball in the last Monday night. Was it somebody dropped a ball in between them? That's what happened. Well, so get back to the Willie Collum. All right, we were 1-2-1 at the time and scored the right goal. I'm going to ask you this, mate. But is it no masking of the fact is that how bad we were and managed to get 2 goals. One was an excellent goal, and one, in my opinion, a soft penalty kick.
It was technically a penalty. You know, talk about technical. You know, in an incident, you talk about technically and morally. And you might say morally, well, it's not a penalty, but technically it is a penalty.
Aye.
You know, this is how they often look at it. But, you know, technically it's a penalty and that's it. You know, and referees don't generally say, oh, it was soft or it wasn't soft or it was hard. They generally say it was either a penalty or it's not a penalty. And that was it. I mean, we were a wee bit lucky there. The guy was a wee bit silly. I heard Billy saying it might have been a red card denying an obvious goal-scoring opportunity, but that wouldn't happen because he was never going to get to the ball.
So the
ball was going to the goalkeeper. He was never going to reach the ball.
We've got Billy booked in for Specsavers and more, mate. He's going to get off to your name. Don't give them your money. They sponsor SFA. Don't give them your money. We'll change that. We'll get them something, mate. We'll get them new ones. Don't worry about it. But
Vision Express. And other providers are available.
I think, Billy, question for you. On you go, Billy.
Well, just a wee question for you, mate, being a referee, right? Do you think, mate, obviously you've seen the chat, well, the nonsense with obviously the player kneeing Alfredo in the back, and he's sort of manoeuvred the boot with his arms. Do you think a better or more competent referee would have pulled him to the side and says, right, Alfredo, you've had 2 swipes, and pulled the other player on the side and say, right, enough of that, cut it out, there a yellow card, any more it, you're in the stand.
Aye, that could have happened. That could have happened. Obviously, he's got his reputation. And obviously, you know, the referee, Wally Collins likes to be the centre of attention. And then there's this agenda that I'm positive is an agenda. We saw it last season. We saw it last season when they changed the fixtures about.
I mean, would you not say, Willie, but the biggest crime that Morelos done is and I'll go to Port with this and come to your good self after it, Port, he's gave that referee a decision to make.
He absolutely did. He gave him the chance to send him off. That's what he did.
What?
His reputation precedes him, Oxtear. If you know what you've got to remember is, I think how many cameras is at these games? There's, you know, you've got to be mindful of these things, Oxtear. It's bad enough back in our day when we had 2 linesmen and a referee, but now you've got, you know, trial by TVs. It's called. You've got, you know, 50 odd cameras, 70 odd different angles. There's no place to hide, Oxtear, and as you rightly says, if he's going to give referees a decision to make, then this was going to happen because his reputation precedes him, because they all know Alfie's capable of a flick out, you know, an elbow, whatever. You know, just before it, he had a wee sort of petulant flick with his feet at one of the defenders. Now, who's to say, well, he didn't see that first, let him go with that one, but the next one, he's got him. And right, you know, that's the way, he is. He couldn't wait to send Lundstrom up. He's running at Lundstrom with a card in his back pocket, bang. He couldn't wait to do it, mate. That's the way it is. But Alfie has to be more clever than that. You have to be switched on. With all these cameras, Oxia, you have to be switched on, mate.
You know what the referee could have done? The referee could have stopped the game. When he's seen anything like that, he could have stopped the game and says, right, in you come to Morelos, in you come, and give him a dressing down, what they call a public warning, for everybody to see. He could have done that. He could have said, I see what you're up to. I see what they're up to. Don't get involved, because you get yourself sent off. He could have done that. You know, he could have laid it on the line. The next one you're going to have to go, sort of thing, you know. He could have done that. But, you know, it's one of these situations, Morelos, big reputation. He throws his arm back like that, you know.
See, when you think about it, for all we've been frustrated with Alfie at times, and he has done a lot of good for his Billy.
Yeah.
And he has done at times. I mean, he's been excellent at times, let's be honest. As boy Mark said, he's no an Alan McCoy with his numbers and goals and that. He's no a Marco Negri with, you know, a great season and that. But even sometimes when he's no scored goals, he's been a good player. But Billy, see his red cards, mate. I don't think he's ever hurt anybody.
What's he actually done? Has he actually kiboshed somebody right in the square in the face? As he went in over the top on a ball and smashed the guy and put, you know what I mean, deliberately went out to foul an opponent? He's no. It's all been silly stuff. You know what I mean? That listen, see what he brings when you've got a fit and healthy, on the ball, 110% Alfredo Morelos in a Rangers team. He's unplayable, and he's a defender's worst nightmare. right? But I don't know if it's just the South American temperament in him, Ox, or that's, I mean, could that be what it is? Or is he learned, or is he just after as a brush? I mean, look at Vinnie Jones and that when they all played, do you know what I mean? Gaz in them all. So it could be a what do you call it? It could be a mixture of everything. You know what I mean? Or maybe the boy was just frustrated because he's been out injured for that long and he was desperate to get back into the fold again. Maybe that's been playing in the back of his head as well. We don't know, mate.
Okay, right. Well, we're going to part that unless any other callers come in, because we've got a big game tomorrow night, which is a big game club for potential revenue.
Yes.
How do you think it's going to go tomorrow night, Wally? And
I think it's going to be tough and it's going to be tight and right down the wire, but I think we can do it.
Oh, yeah,
I think we're a wee bit. I think, you know, at the weekend that might have been the thing, that this game tomorrow was on their minds, you know, and they weren't right into it. They weren't right up for it against Hibs. They should be, but they weren't right up because they were thinking about this game. And that's obviously why he took Colak off in 60 minutes. I thought he took him off a bit too early. You know, I was a wee bit concerned because I thought Alfie's not fit for 30 minutes. You know.
Well, maybe Alfie saved his legs, but anyway, we'll be joined by another Willie. So it's Willie for Carluke. So Willie, how you doing?
How you doing, lads? All right.
Good to hear from you, mate.
I'm going to make a wee bit of defence for the wee man Morelos. Like,
yep,
I think he's getting made out to a wee bit of a scapegoat here.
Go on.
What I would like to say is, see when that news came out today, the thing that annoyed me was the senior players, but you get through the senior players in the Rangers starting line up now. Not one of them has got the right to point the finger at Morelos with the way they're playing. Tavernier, Golson, Barisic. We've been missing Kent. Ryan Jack was murdered as well. And I think they're making him a wee bit to a scapegoat here. You remember when Morelos is just back for 5 months out. He's never had a full pre-season. What kind of pre-seasons he had? He's never near at the same stage as the rest of them are at. And they look knackered. I don't think he should be anywhere near the first team. Or the bench, never mind the first team.
I don't think he's fit, and I think that's part of the problem. Port Bear?
Indeed, mate. I touched on it at the beginning of the show. I think I'm sort of echoing what Billy's saying. As much as I do feel sorry for the wee fella, got to remember, Oxshire, he's 26 now. He's been at Rangers a long time. He knows exactly what's expected to be a Rangers player. He knows exactly what's expected for these referees. You know, he knows, mate. We're not talking about a young boy here anymore. And I think, Billy, this is the thing that's annoying me. We're not talking about a Wayne. We're not talking about a youth player. We're talking about a guy with bags of experience, played in Europe for Rangers and done very, very well. You know, as Billy touched on earlier on, he's led your line, you know, for a long, long time, and Rangers couldn't really get a striker to fire in the goals. The wee man's been there, takes on defences on his own, you know, but you have got to question, Billy, you've got to question his attitude, his physical condition as a professional elite athlete. You've got to question these things.
He's been out for 5 months. He's not had a pre-season. Morelos has not had a pre-season.
But this is not the first time, mate. This is happening, Alfredo. It's not the first time, mate.
When was the last time he was sent off? 3 years?
I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about his condition, his physical condition. Well, I think it's not a new thing with him, mate.
Well, he shouldn't have been anywhere near the benches. Can he rush them back there? We're all panicking after the Union game. Everybody was up in arms trying to get him back. He's obviously not ready to come back. He's because he's not had the pre-season. But the manager's brought him back. But you've got to remember, another thing that annoys me is, why was the reason he was out for 5 months? Because our manager kept playing him last season when he was carrying an injury. He ran him into the ground.
Here's something for you, Billy. Do you think the reason, let's say there's a clash, and I'll use that politely, right? Well, if it can look, do you think it's because he's not got the same credit in the bank with Gio that he maybe had with, say, Stevie G, for instance, because he's maybe not done it as often for Gio because Gio's not been with us that long, you know what I mean?
Maybe you're right there, like, but when Gio first came in, they had him singing, like, he was playing well. for Gio when Gio first came in. So I don't really think you can say that. I just feel sorry for the wee man. Because he should have been sent off. It was stupid, but it's the first time in 3 years. It wasn't as if he went out and halved somebody and lost the head. It was just this wee stupid flick out. And like I say, I mean, he's been out for 5 months with an injury. And that injury was compounded with him getting played for the tail end of the season last year. He kept playing him. Even had other strikers on the bench, but he kept playing Morelos, knowing that he was injured. Everybody knew he was injured. He was carrying an injury. And bang, he's out for 5 months. He's sitting in his backside for 5 months. He's obviously... I heard that guy today talking about it today. He's a wee bit... He's not as good as Rooney, but he's a wee bit the same mould as Rooney, the way he's built. And even Cassino says at the time, if you keep his weight right, he's a player. So he's come back after 5 months. He's been fired right in there. And I think he's been kind of hung out to dry with this thing. Like, there's players in that team that need to take a long, hard look at themselves. Golson, for one. He's murder. He's been murder since the start of the season. Tavernier's not been great. Tavernier's not been great either. Barisic's your usual up and down. Ryan Kent's Ryan Kent's an empty jersey for me.
He's not playing. Well, listen, Billy, must be like a film on here. We'll get 3 Willies on the night. That's some of your favourite movies, 3 Willies in them.
All we need now is a ruler.
Dear, can I ask you something?
Aye, go on.
Right, we're saying about Alfredo, right, been out for 5 months. He's been back in the squad training for a month. Does any of you think he's in the condition he should be in?
But he's not the pre-season. Did they tell you that just before the Tottenham game? Did they not just come out and say that he was back training with the squad just before the Tottenham game? He's not had a full pre-season.
I understand that, mate, but he's been back a month with the squad. He's been back a full month with the squad training.
But that's not the same as a pre-season, though. That's not got to get into condition to
it depends.
Your training. Sorry, Box, yeah.
Yes, mate. If he's then coming back a month ago, he start building up in his rehab, or he's come back 100% fit to get into pre-season, and we don't know either of that, do we?
No. But can I put something to you, Oxtear? You think that we've got a 5-star plus training facility? These guys have got nutritionists, they've got personal chefs, every single thing aimed at Auchenhowie, the Rangers training ground, is set to keep these elite athletes at tip-top condition. Everybody else seems to be fine, Oxtear. I'm not being negative, I'm not bashing you, man. I love Alfredo Morelos, but there's no excuses.
Does your team look as if, with Ryan on cylinders, Ryan Jack, Billy said rightly, Ryan Kent, Listen, I've got sympathy for Alfredo.
Yeah, me too.
I've also got sympathy for Giovanni, and I'll go to Ur Willie now. You could be a character like that. Right? I'll go to Ur Willie now, but I've got sympathy for Giovanni because I'll tell you one thing about him, and it's you might like it or you don't like it. He's honest, and he came out and answered that question. He could have just said he's not quite fit, and he'll be raising it with the weekend or when he gets fit again. But he gave you what he thought was the right answer. Some people might like it, some people don't. Billy?
Well, I thought, when you read into Gio's press conference there, mate, he showed brilliant leadership qualities, and he showed a bit of ruthlessness about him as well. And he's also showed the bit in him who's a natural human being, because he's thought about the situation personally, and he's also thought about it footballing wise, and he's took the decision footballing wise to leave him out. You know what I mean? Now, if Alfie's, I agree with Willie there, and you've touched on some great points, mate, but also agree with Port, because Alfredo Morelos, if he's not 100% on it, mate, then he's no good to us. Alfie's got to be 100%. He's got to be 100% on the ball, mate. And the timing of this has not been great at all. The day afore, or a couple of days afore the the Champions League qualifier, mate, because you can bet your bottom dollar now, mate, the jungle drums will be rolling and they'll be getting banged for you know who. You know what I mean?
Oh, I know. Can I come back with that there?
Yeah,
I can see towards the argument if they come back at the start of the season in that condition. But as I said before, he's never had a pre-season, and all right, the manager's honest and all that, but the manager's got to take some of the blame as well. He's fired him in there into the firing line, knowing. I mean, I'm outright myself, but I can look at it and see him in the park, and he's at least a stone and a half overweight. So if I can see it, all your nutritionists must be able to see it and say, well, wait a minute. And I think he's panicked, but when they brought him back in after that Union game, he's panicked. And thought, oh, we need to do something here. And I think he's hung him out to drive it, But like I say, he could deserve to get sent off. A lot of the time it is his own fault, but his behaviour's been exemplary for the last 3 years. You know what I mean?
A fit and an Alfredo playing well. We're arguably a better team. And funny enough, I would like to see him and Kovac playing together, but I don't know if it would suit the two of them because I just don't know. But that boy Kovac makes intelligent runs and he's a finisher. Alfie's never a natural. He's a great leader of the line, but he's not a natural finisher. 3 Billies on the call and 2 Willies. I'm lost there. I'll tell you, Willie for Key, Willie for Kilmarnock. Give me your tuppence worth, mate.
I think Alfie, I think he absolutely does not look fit. Same as Ryan Jack. Ryan Jack, for me, has been injured for 2 years, you know. So I think he's not up to it at all, and I think, thanks for the memories, but, you know, he's just not up to it. I don't think he's been in the squad. You know, thanks for everything he's done for the club. Alfie, I think, you know, he's got this Latin temperament, and I think he does not look fit, absolutely not fit. He needs to go away and get fit, and he might have come back too quick after that operation he had or whatever. You know, I mean, if you look how long your pal's been off, Oaks, what do you call him? Hadji. You look how long he's been out of the picture. I think he's going to stay right out of the picture until he's fully fit. Whereas maybe Alfie's come back in too quick.
Well, maybe it was. I'll go to report if the manager brought him too quick, and that's possibly his responsibility. I've got a feeling it's no the way Giovanni was talking there. I don't think it's as simple as that. It might be just attitude, Portman. There's a wee clash there.
Well, if you heard when the female asked him a question in regards to how long do you think Alfie, you know, might be back, obviously he asked him when he's next going to be in the squad, could he be back the weekend, and he basically alluded to it's something he's been monitoring and watching. You know, he said that was his own words, Oxford. He's basically, you know, looked at it over a period of time. So obviously they've been keeping an eye, and there's things going on. Oxford, as you said, he was very, very honest in his interview and his assessment of Alfredo. I just think, mate, he has to, you know, the boy touched on Hadji there. I've been watching pretty much quite a lot of Hadji's doing like a video sort of build up to his rehab, and I can assure you the videos I've seen of Yanis Hadji, no overweight, busting his backside Oxtail, you know, to make sure he's going to be fit 100% for coming back. But again, that came all down to the personality of an individual, how you want to, you know, come through your rehab.
But Taba wasn't the man all Port. You know what it's like. You can't ball.
Oh, aye.
Probably, you know what I mean?
No, I cannot, mate. I cannot. Season ticket for McDonald's, aye. But no, Oxtail, you know, Giovanni made it quite clear he's not going to stand. But that should be a message to everybody in the squad now. He's not going to stand for any, you know, disruptive influences, any negativity around the squad. You know, what sort of message does it say when Alfie's sort of behaving the way he's saying to our young players and his other teammates have just come into the squad? He's training about and he's, you know, he's overweight. He doesn't look. It looks like his attitude's all wrong for me as well. I think his attitude over the weekend, just going with his body language and stuff, and he's laughing when he's getting sent off. That really annoyed me, Oxtail. That really annoyed me. He was laughing.
I wasn't laughing. I wasn't annoyed because he was laughing going off apart. I was annoyed because he gave the referee a decision to make. But
aye, that's bang on, mate. You're 100% right. These are the things where, as I said, we're not talking about a youth player anymore, Oxtail. We're talking about a 26-year-old guy, you know, that's about that should be hitting the prime of his career. If I'm being brutally honest, should be looking about, but now I expected Alfredo. See with the years, the year he got 14 goals in the Europa, mate. That after that year, I thought Alfredo was going to kick on and maybe get a move to one of the top 5 leagues. That's the way he was looking. I'm going to be really honest. He leads the line. There was no striker like him in Europe. In that year when he scored the 2 against Feyenoord, etc. He was a men's socks chair. He was a bully. He get tore in about defences. Nobody liked playing against him. Ruud van Nistelrooy touched about it on his presser in regards to he was happy that Alfredo wasn't making the trip because he rates him so highly. So, he's dangerous Oxchair, but he's dangerous when his mind's on it and his body's correct. And we need to get him back here because Alfredo Morelos is an asset to our club, Oxchair. Not only in monetary value, I mean to the squad. He's an absolute powerhouse.
He's a shrinking asset if your attitude's not right, mate, and if you want to go, you're not happy, or you're looking to do this, you become less an asset to us and more a liability. But only time will tell.
He's not shrinking enough.
No, I know. Kind of for that. Right, well, last word for Willie, the ref. It was great to hear from you, Willie. How's it going to go tomorrow night, quickly?
4-2 to the Gels. 4-2 to the Gels.
4-2 to the Gels. I'm liking that.
Superb.
Great to hear from you. Great for you coming on and giving us a proper insight to the referee, mate. Always a pleasure, mate.
No problem.
Speak to you soon.
Right, cheers, guys.
All the best, mate.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.
Getting easy.
Super box, dear.
That's one Willie less. Right. But listen, maybe Gio's been cute. What about that? The other Willie. What about that? And then we'll go to Billy. Has he been cute? Maybe what he's done is all the pressure's been off the rest of the squad. We're on here tonight talking about Alfredo Morelos, a guy who's no fit, who wouldn't have been starting them all night anyway, and it lets the rest of them go under the radar.
Well, he could work it like that, but I'd have rather seen him when he come back. I was saying to him right after your pre-season starts now, you've got 3 weeks, constant training, and get his weight down. Then maybe give him a couple of games in the B team. Then bring him back in. Like I said before, I think he was rushed. I think he panicked. Van Bronckhorst definitely panicked bringing him back in. Just after that first Union game. But, well, has he been cute? I don't know. Will it work out? I don't know. I'm not too confident for Wednesday anyway.
Only time will tell, mate, eh?
And saying that, it wouldn't surprise me if we went out and within 10 minutes I've rattled 2 in. We've seen that before, haven't we? But the way they're playing now, I just can't see it. There's no set play the way they're going about the game. Last season it was different. This season it's not. I mean, he's didn't know his best midfield yet. I heard them mentioning Kamara there. I said, hope to God he doesn't bring Kamara back for tomorrow night.
We're short in there.
Yep.
Well, we'll be short in there. I like to see him going with Lundstrom and Davis. Playing Tillman and what's his face?
Lawrence.
Aye, Lawrence. With Kent and Matondo, that's it.
Matondo tomorrow night, do you think so?
Well, it's going to have that out ball, I think, because I think they'll have most of the ball.
Interesting. Talking about something we never share teasers. I'll be joined. Evening, David.
Oh, it's David tonight. Oh, thank you. That's very kind of you. That's very good. Last night I was the elephant man. Neil David. Fabulous. No, brilliant. Fabulous. No, hold on. I'm just doing a couple of my memory pulls. Right, before I go, right, I'm ready to go. Okay, great. Everything you've said so far has been fantastic.
I don't know my tune.
Oh, okay, that was good. You caught me there. I should have known you'd do that. Anyway, the points have been terrific, but what I was really pleased about was Gio's interview, because that was something that's been stuck in my gullet ever since Saturday, watching that performance and the things that developed during that game. And we know with the referee and all the rest of the rubbish that went with it. I thought he was the manager that I felt he should have been tonight. And the point, I think one of the great things was one of the journalists asked him, was that red card, did that instigate your decision with Morelos? And his answer was, no, that's been going on for weeks. And my question there is, well, why was he on the bench? And I'm not wanting this because we've not got anybody else. Why was he on the bench?
I think Molly, if can look and I'll go to you, Billy, to answer that. Could be right. He could have panicked. Billy, in you come, mate.
No, that's what I think it was. I don't think he should have. He shouldn't have been anywhere near the starting squad, like, or the match day squad, should I say. But he should be intensive training for me, like, get him up to speed. And I think Van Bronckhorst panicked. I'd like to see him bringing Lovelace in the. I'm in the bench in Stadium because he's the only one we've got. He's banging the goals in.
I think he's miles away, mate, for being ready for our first team, mate. Who
else do you put in the bench?
Hey, trialist, I can still get a bit, Billy, in you come.
Isn't it? Silky, mate. No, listen, I said in the show last week that I thought Alfie was 3 weeks away. I said it in the show, mate, and you could see it. You could see it in him. He looks no fit. He's not up to match speed. So, as I said, mate, I seen it 3 weeks ago. But I think some of the criticism the boys getting. No, I'm all for constructive criticism, mate, and the comments have been bang on and the questions have been bang on with constructive criticism. But some of the comments that's flying around are ludicrous, mate. I mean, we only have to look at a certain French footballer called Eric Cantona, who kung fu'd a supporter in the stand, and a club with the stature of Manchester United and the wonderful manager of Sir Alex Ferguson, who won everything in the game. He didn't turn his back on that player then, did he? So we can't turn our back on Alfredo, and because as long as he's a Rangers player, we've got to look after him. But he's definitely. And listen, to touch on Wally's comments as well, Wally, you're bang on, mate. I think he has panicked a wee bit and brought him in. I don't know why that could be, if that is the case at all. However, if that's the case as well, then if that's the case, then how we not got a backup striker? Because if Alfredo's not there tomorrow night and Big Kolak's unlucky to get injured, we're miles short. Because who are we got in that number 9 role to go and play in that role?
Well, we'll get one coming back for injury potentially who's back in the grass now. How long he'll be, Ruth, and how long he'll be fit for is another story. There's also been a clash. It looks like a clash between Giovanni and the boy Sakala, because if you think about it, if you wanted somebody to run about for the last 15 minutes up front, just give you everything he's got with a bit of pace to hold 2 at the back of the back, maybe 3 at the back. Sakala was ideal. But
definitely, mate. I think Sakala done probably what I would do, mate. I'm led to believe he went to the gaffer's door and tapped his door and asked a question, which is every player, I think, mate, is entitled to do that. I think if you don't do it, I'd be more concerned if he did go and tap his door and say, right, gaffer, what's his script here, And because we've turned out, as you well know, documented now, shortage of strikers now, shortage of centre halves. So we man's probably wondering, when did I get my chance? I mean, I think you talked about when Billy touched on it as well about the Gio panicking. Maybe he didn't think that Cholak was going to have such a good start to the season, and thought we need to get Alfredo back because we're going to be short. Because he definitely, clearly doesn't fancy Sakala, mate, through the middle. And I have to sort of agree with that. You know what I mean? I do agree with that.
Player, mate, but if you wanted to put somebody on to run a boot for 15 minutes and give you a bit of pace up front.
Aye. Stretch your game, get you in behind, yep, definitely, mate.
Right, get yourself a mute, lads, because this time, old Davey, we are having a tune.
Good on you.
don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Well, thanks for that. Well,
sorry about that.
You all right, Davey?
Yeah, I just went there for a quick pee, and I thought I put my phone on mute. It was the telly. It was still blaring. And I went, oh God, that's another yellow card right away, and I've hardly been on it 2 minutes.
Well, I would love to say it was a yellow, Davy, but because I thought he was involved, it's a red.
It just dawned on me. I was saying, my phone's off for loud tonight.
And I've only got one thing to say to you, Davy. You have a nice Christmas. We'll talk to you in the new year, all right?
Carry on, carry on. Sorry about that. I apologise.
Right. Let's get to tomorrow night's game. Right. It's a big game for us, Billy.
Absolutely, mate. It's massive for us, Ox. The prestige he played in the Champions League, mate, for the players, for the club, for the magnitude of the club, for the players to go and play in that platform, mate. It's absolutely huge. It brings a brilliant revenue into the club. It touches every corner of the Rangers Football Club. It gets the fans right up for it. The fans are talking about who we're going to play. The top teams coming to Ibrox. You know what I mean? It's absolutely fantastic, mate. That's where we want to be. So we've got to make sure we go and listen, give everything tomorrow night. Play to your potential. You know what I mean? Don't switch off. Concentration levels 110% for 90 minutes and beyond if need be. Every player, we need. I think Port touches on it, and he's bang on every time he says it. We've got to hit 8s, 9s and 10s tomorrow night, mate. We've got to hear that. A minimum of 8, 9 and 10 tomorrow night, and that's for the goalkeeper, to whoever plays up front, mate, and any subs when they come on, because they will be needed as well, because this is a cracking Dutch team. Can we get at them? Of course we can, mate. Of course we can. They've got chinks in their armour and all, so it'll be another cracking game, mate. But long as we go out there tomorrow night, mate, and leave every single thing out in that park, that's all we can ask for. That's all we can ask for, mate. And I really strongly fancy tomorrow night just to sneak us.
I don't know if you're allowed to say chinks in their armour anymore. You might have to say dents in their armour now. You know, things have moved on.
Yep.
Right, okay, I get you, mate, I get you. But I tell you what today, we'll get one of the stars of Rangers Radio. No, it's not all Davey. Alex joins us. But before we hear from the one and only Alex from our show, we're going to hear the Port report, and then we're going to hear from one of life's gentlemen.
Very good.
Hello and welcome to Port's Report. Today we're going to have a look at PSV Eindhoven. Rangers are now one step away from the glamour of the Champions League, the holy grail of football. PSV's start to the season has been superb, with a win in the Cruyff Shield against Dutch giants Ajax, a score of 5-3, which was a great start. In the league they've won 2 games, scoring 9 goals. In the last round of the Champions League, they defeated Monaco. They got a 1-1 draw away from home, but PSV stuck to their possession-based game at home and got a late equaliser to force extra time, where Nigel de Jong scored the 109th minute to set up the tie against Rangers. PSV's playing style. Possession-based footballing side, they use very similar style of football to Rangers. They play a 4-2-3-1 formation that can transfer to a 4-3-3 in a very fluid manner. PSV have played us now at Ibrox, where we got to see them up close and personal. As well as getting the ball wide, they look very dangerous playing through the lines. Joey Veerman's quality was clear to see, where Sabari on the right was a real danger and gave Borna Barisic a real tough night. Ibrahim Sangare was their midfield general, like we said in the first Port's report. He got the goal against Rangers and is dangerous from set pieces, so Rangers again will have to be switched on and ready to defend. Corey Gakpo again will prove real tough opposition for James Tavernier, and John Lundstrom will have to step up again on this massive night to tackle Joey Veerman. And that's the end of Port's report.
I'm going to say I love the jingle. Sorry, I'm only kidding.
I know.
Anyway, we've been joined by Alex. How are we doing, Alex?
Good evening, Oxford, Port, Billy, Davy, and everybody else that's here.
Molly.
Good to hear a sensible person coming on.
everybody keep them okay.
We're good,
mate.
What's on your mind, Brad?
Oh, well, tomorrow night's a big one, isn't it? This is a game that we're all looking forward to. I must admit, after hearing Gio's interview tonight, I'm a wee bit more positive. I wasn't too sure how the game was going to pan out. With them scoring a late equaliser, I thought they'd probably have the upper hand, but I'm kind of swaying now that it could go either way. Extra time and possibly penalty kicks now.
I've not recovered from May yet, and you're wanting to do it again.
Well, I will have a go at it again. This time we'll do it right, Oxford, you know what I mean?
I hope you're right, mate. Aye, I get you. Listen, mate, we need to play tomorrow night, and I think we can play better than last week, yes?
Well, this is the thing. We've not played all well the most of the season. You look there on Saturday, and albeit you can blame referees, we can do this or that. The performance was absolutely dire. We hadn't even one shot in the first half, and we got a penalty kick. That's debatable as well. Tavernier scores. I look at it the other way. If it had been given up to the Rangers' end, I wouldn't have been too happy. But that's how it goes. We go to the penalty. We win 1-0. Then the rest, you see what happens. We get a man sent off. Then we bring on Alfie. Now, I've stood by Alfie Morelos for day one. And he's had some hard times, as we all know, at the beginning. He's played very well. He scored his goals out of this world in Europe and all over. I says there 3 weeks ago when he came on there about his fitness levels. I'd seen a video and he was in the gym and he looked no too bad. But when he came on there against Kilmarnock and these teams, I'm sitting there and I'm going, God, you've really put the weight on. Right? He comes on there, Easter Road, we're a man down. The thing about it is, he gave the referee the choice to make a decision, whether we agree with it or not, that he was sent off. To me personally, it's a sending off. But that's another thing. We get into 9 men, and he cost us there. He cost us there badly on Saturday. We all dig deep into our pockets here for Rangers Football Club. We'll walk to the earth for them. But one thing is, these players know what's at stake now. The beginning of the season, with these European qualifiers coming up, and we're not even prepared for it. The injuries we've got, we're signed guys there. I don't know what's happened there, how fit they are or how unfit they are. But the problem is that's not the team that probably Gino wanted at the beginning. Now we're left, we've got the one striker. God knows what will happen if he gets injured. And Alfie, honestly, you can't make any excuses about the guy. He totally let us down badly.
We've been running the hoosies with that, Alex, and everybody sees it slightly different. I thought it was a bit schoolboyish myself, but maybe he shouldn't have been in the team as well. If Carl Lutz, like you said, he thought he's been brought back too early. Tomorrow night, I'm going to put you in the spot first, Alex for Wishaw, because obviously I've looked through the panel and you're the most intelligent. What's the team going to be, mate? And I'll go to Willie next for Carluke, and then I'll go to Billy.
I'll have McLaughlin, Tavernier, Golston, Sands, Bonner, two midfield will be Lundstrom, Stevie Davis. I'll have Lawrence just in front of him. And the three front men will be Tillman, Collitz, and Ryan Kent.
Where are you playing Tillman, mate?
On the right side, at the wing.
All right, okay. All right, well, if you can look.
Aye, bang on, just exactly the same team.
You copying his homework? You copying his homework?
Well, I'm just stay up the road anyway, so... No, I think the most important thing is, see them all night for any chance, we've got to go there and play without fear, which we haven't been doing. There's a fear about Rangers in the way they're playing now. To get through them all night, they've got to go out there. But Jerry used to say, empty the tank. We've got to empty the tank, play without fear. If you get cuffed, you get cuffed. Just don't hope they don't go back in a whimper. I'd rather see them go out and having a right good go at them. As I say, play without the fear. I think it will be difficult right enough. But like I said before, it wouldn't surprise me if they were 2-0 up after 10-15 minutes. They've done it before, haven't they?
Aye. Good, Billy. What's your team tomorrow night, mate?
Slightly different, mate, to be honest with you. McLaughlin in goals, Tavernier, Barisic, Golson and Sands, and Davis and Lundstrom. But I'd be different. I would take Camara in there, and I would take Scotty Arfield down the right hand side and Kent on the left with Collett up front. Now, my reasoning for playing Scotty Arfield is I think Tavernier, to let Tavernier get forward, but you can also play Arfield in that right hand side to give him protection as well for that. What's his name? I can't mind the boy's name off the top of him. But he caused Tavernier a lot of problems in the game at Ibrox. And we were a wee bit short in that. Kakpo, that's him, mate. Aye. I think we maybe need to stick Scotty Arfield in there just to give Tav a wee bit more protection, just to double up on him, if that makes sense, mate. But that'd be my team for tomorrow night.
I don't think Scotty Arfield's catching that boy, mate.
No,
you know what I mean?
Well, three of them can't catch Ryan Kent, but sometimes they double and treble up on them, mate. So that's the reason. If you double up on players, it doesn't give them that option, mate. You know.
I get you that point. Aye. All right, Port, what's your 11?
My 11 is McLaughlin, Tav, Golton, Sands, Borna, Lundstrom and Jack at the base, Tillman, Lawrence, Kent and Cholak up front. And the reason I've went for that, mate, is because I'm expecting Jack to do his usual cover Tav when Tav's getting forward. Tillman will play a bit more narrow to let obviously Tav get round the outside him. And Lawrence, just I think he's a good start to the season, mate. Took his goal well against Tibbs, making them runs into the box. And I think we're going to need legs tomorrow, mate. I think that's why you need guys like Tillman, Lawrence and Kent. We need running power. I think it'll be doing individual battles. I think, again, Lundstrom versus Veerman, Tav versus Gakpo, and Golton and Sands are going to be right on it, mate, for De Jong, because he's 6'3". You know, he's good in the air. He showed that in the first early minutes of the game at Ibrox. We're going to need 8 or 9 more players, mate, tomorrow to be right on it if we stand a chance.
Interesting. I want to go back to Alex and Wally for Carluke. Yeah, the boy Tillman, he's been good for us. The boy's definitely got something about him. Yeah? He's got ability, got vision. Is he an outside right, or is he going to be in the middle influence again? Because I thought he got lost a bit out there at times. If I'm being completely honest, I'll go to Alex first, and then Wally. Alex?
No, you're quite right. That's a fair comment there, Alex. And I just think we'll play the fella down there. I believe that's the best lineup we could put out that day, because I'm not too sure he would call it Matondo or Scott Wright. Scott Wright's tested. I think we need to go this way because we need to score. If we're going to get through here, we need to score goals, and it's a thing we've not been able to do. Let's be quite truthful. That's the downfall of the team. We've not been shooting. So I think this is the only way we can do it. By the way, I could be wrong. I hope so. I don't care who we put out tomorrow night. If we get a result, I'll just be happy. But that's where I'd play Tillman out there. I'd play Tillman out there.
Right. Okay. Yeah, Wally.
Aye, much the same. I'd like to. He's got to be in the team. He's one of the few players we've got that can unlock the defence, like one wee flick, one wee feint, and defences can unlock defences. Is his right side his best position? Probably no, but 10 years or so with the right, good outside right, like, so I don't know. Well, saying that, I'd play him out in the right. I think I'd play him out in the right.
Okay. All right, I'm just talking about the last time. I think he got lost in when he came into the middle. He influenced the game, but I think that was against that Union side, yeah. When he got the header, he came into the middle. And
they can always do that. Change it, like they could always bring Matondo or something or right on and move him into the centre if it's not going well. Like courses for courses, isn't it?
Aye, okay, all right. Fair comment, boys. Fair comment. Right, well, short and centre halves, but James Sands, he's come on to a wee game, arguably in the last two games, being my best player. Couldn't do the piece. Is that fair, Billy? And then old Davy.
Well, mate, listen, you'll know be the first Rangers player that we've doubted over the last season or so that's come on leaps and bounds. Like, so hopefully the guy can continue, and maybe he's starting to settle into that position now. Maybe he's starting to find his feet in there, and he's striking up a partnership with Golson. So, listen, the laddie will learn. He's obviously learning. You know what I mean? He's made a couple of mistakes. Of course he has. But who doesn't make mistakes, mate? You know what I mean? But the laddie's definitely try to make that position his own in there. And obviously, I've said it before, mate, and I'll say it again. He's obviously, whatever tools he's shown at training, you know what I mean? He wasn't bringing them to the football field, mate. So he's always starting to kick a ball now, mate. And listen, it can only be good for us, mate, because if with the players we've got out injured in that position, obviously Gio thinks that is his better partnership with the two centre backs, mate, with Ghost and Sands in there.
Tools to the training. Did you play with Port? Old Davy, and you come.
I agree with all the guys that were saying. I mean, obviously the defence picks itself, because basically that's where we are. I think we need. I think Port was close to what I would play, but apart from Ryan Jack, I don't think Ryan Jack's on his game. The new, I think the young boy told me whether he could play that part or no. And Montendo, whatever he's fucking. Well, I'm sorry about that. I know. But I would change. I would put Physicality out in the wing. We need some. If you want to win again, you go to play a wee bit more quicker up front.
I don't think there's a hope of that, David. I just think there doesn't seem to be a relationship between him and Gio, does there?
Well, it doesn't sound if there was a relationship between him and Morelos either, was there?
No, I know. I'm not denying that neither, mate. Sakala. I don't think the boys had a fair crack at a whip, but I'm not saying he's Lionel Messi, but there's been times where I think we could have done with his enthusiasm and his pace, and he does things differently, and he scored mental goals, But I don't think he's a number 9 Port bear, if that makes sense. But he can cause problems.
His chaos causes problems, mate, and his pace obviously as well. But I think if I'm thinking back to the games where he's had an impact like Motherwell, etc., Livingston, he seems to be a lot better, mate, coming after the left, doesn't he? Which is obviously Kent's place. I think Sakala might have to, if he wants to take Rangers, he might have to accept, mate, that he might be an impact player. A guy that's going to come on for the bench when teams are tired, and his running power, he's as I said, he's chaos. Sometimes I don't think he knows what he's going to do next at times. But he's definitely got an eye for goal last year. 12 times last year, had it back in it, which is decent numbers for a guy that, didn't get a lot of starts. So Sakala, he knows his way to the net, mate, but it's just his first touch and his inability to play with his back to goal. I think that lets you down if you're Rangers forward, mate. But he does have an impact from the left.
All right, okay. It'll be interesting to see it. And listen, is Ryan Jack? I mean, obviously, some of his better games in Europe, he's come in, Alex, and I don't know. I think it was Willie mentioned he'd been injured for a couple of years earlier on in the show, and has it all caught up with him? Because he does look half a yard slow, doesn't he?
I gave you that look, sir. I do. He's been absolutely wonderful, but I think he's just caught up with him now. I don't think he can keep up with the pace of the game. I'm sorry to say that, because honestly, I thought he'd been a good Rangers captain at the time. I think I'll be surprised if Ryan Jack's playing tomorrow night. I really will.
I don't think you're alone. And what do you make of the point? Just quickly going back to Saturday, you see that the Lundstrom card has been changed to a yellow, mate. What good does that take, really, apart from the suspension, apart from it's influenced the game on Saturday? Yeah.
Oh, that's it. Those 2 points. Those 2 points. I must admit, when I seen it at the beginning, I thought it was a sending off, and I watched that again. Then I realised I was wrong. I'm not taking that away. I know the tackles that was in this game. What gets us upset, every Rangers player, man, supporters, everybody at a dog knew exactly what was going to happen at Easter Road on Saturday. We knew we were going into there. No matter how bad Tibbs is playing, that's one of the games that they step up. And we never done ourselves any favours, because the team never really played well. But what we'll say is, when Morelos did get sent off, I honestly would have played Sakala. I'd have put him up there without putting another defender in, just to try and get a bit of outfield. I'm not saying it possibly. The game could have ended 2-2, but we might have got a result, because his pace up there might have took one or two of their players and kept them occupied.
Yeah. I tell you what, Alex, you're a very, very wise man. Very wise man. I think somebody else just said that a few minutes ago. Demora, we've only got Golson and Sands, if I've been honest. The centre backs, Hollander's injured, Souttar's injured, Ben Davis is injured. I don't know how that happened, but there we go. So it will be Sands and Golson. Tav will start, Bonner will start, because the young boy Yidman, he's so people are getting frustrated, Port Bear, because we've put out a bit of cash in these guys and we're not seeing them.
Indeed, mate. You know, I was a wee bit concerned when the gaffer mentioned during his interview, he said, weeks, but it was, a wee bit of poker face, wasn't he? He was trying to, obviously, I don't know if he's trying to hide it, Oxford, but there's definitely a problem there with Ben Davies. We bought this guy, and as far as we were all led to believe, he was, eye matching, lacking games, but then at a period of injury in the game we saw him against St Johnstone, I thought he had a decent run out, and I thought he was going to kick on for that, but then disappears again. And as I say, the gaffer was sort of, hemming and hawing about, weeks, but I'm sure I picked him up saying he's a few weeks away, which you're like, well, what happened to him, Mike? But more clear, and tell us what's up with the guy. But young Yilmaz, I think it's just a fact to me, new country, different language, his age, inexperience, and I think that's why the gaffers, are scared, if I'm going to say it, to put him in, to put that pressure on a young man. Don't want to destroy him before he starts. It's all right putting a young player like that, Oxford, into a team that's winning and playing confident and, being fluid, but we're a team at the moment that are trying to find ourselves at the start of the season. We've not been that team where the young lad can come in and show us what he's got. And that might sound terrible because he's a £6 million Turkish internationalist, but I don't think it'd be fair, mate, to throw him in. Really don't. Not knowing some of the games we've had, and especially tomorrow night.
Billy, you know what it's like when you've got a cultural clash and you're dealing with people who speak a different language. You've had it since you've started knocking about with us, haven't you?
That's right, mate. I speak foreign all the time, mate.
No, but it's a snowball that's grown. The young Vilmas and Ben Davis. It's £10 million, mate, and we're not seeing them. And it's also fueling people's frustrations, mate.
You're right, Ox, mate. You know what I mean? We're going to shell out top dough for players. We want to see them perform on the park. You know what I mean? But we need to realise as well that and think along the lines of the. I mean, the laddie Tilmaz. I mean, he's came from a foreign country. It's his first time away from that country. You know what I mean? He's now trying to find out what Rangers are all about. Find out what kind of system they play. Get up to speed. You know what I mean? Get up to speed with what Rangers Football Club are all about. Get to know his teammates, mate. You know what I mean? That just doesn't happen overnight. Especially, I mean, how many experienced football players have came to Rangers and they've struggled? You know what I mean? So if the top pros are coming and struggling, mate, to stamp authority in the Rangers team, I mean, it's if it's hard enough for them, how hard is it for a kid like that? But the Ben Davies one, mate, I don't know how that one is going to pan out, mate, because I was like the rest of yous, and I'm sure it was like every other Rangers supporter, mate. I thought that Ben Davies was just a mere time and getting up to speed, then he'd be playing in that left-hand side of the defence, mate. So, I mean, obviously that's not the case, so we don't know what the problem is there either. So it's frustrating, mate, but we'll just need to suck it up, as they say, and get on, mate, and just shout the Rangers on with what we've got to know, mate, and hopefully these guys will come back fit and strong, and that goes right through the full career, mate, from Alfie to Hollander, to Ben Davies. You know what I mean? The young lad will get up to speed, the team will settle down, mate, they'll start playing better football, they'll get a good understanding with one another, and there'll be proper competition for places all the park, mate. And we'll start winning games, and when you start winning games, mate, all it does is breed confidence. You know what I mean? And we'll start to get our quick, sharp football get our quick, sharp, fancy football. Sorry, back up to speed again, mate, because it's lacking.
Thanks for that. Right, well, if we just been unlucky. You know, Red Van's come in. He's got to adapt to everything that's there, and maybe bought somebody with potential. Davies has come in fit and got an injury. Is that just down to bad luck?
On Davies, I think, did I not pick up, Ryan? He said he'll be back next week, Davies. I think that's what Tio said, like, he'll be back available next week, so it's obviously just been a wee niggling injury. On Ridvan, I mean, Ridvan, I think he's one of the very few players who've got Champions League experience. I think he's played in the Champions League, is he not?
Yes.
I don't really go with that argument. He's for top my man, but the Barisic has not been too bad lately, like, so I think they're just kind of his jersey to lose sort of thing. On the Ryan Kent thing, I think Ryan Kent's kind of fallen foul. The same thing as Kamara's been falling foul. I think when he's been playing, he's been asked to kind of play the further of the. On Saturday, anyway, he was asked to play the kind of further further of the two midfielders, Lundstrom sitting and him playing, kind of pushing for it. And I don't think that's his game, the same as Kamara. I think Ryan Kent's better sitting when we did play a two.
Ryan Jack.
Aye, Ryan Jack, sorry, mate. On the kind of Tillman out in the right thing, I wouldn't surprise me right enough if he played right out there as well, because he seems to favour right on the European games. Maybe that was been through necessity, but you maybe asked Tar to sit a wee bit more, because I think Matondo's falling foul like that when he's playing as well. It's him and Tavernier, they're playing too close together. Half the time it's Matondo's overlapping Tavernier, and kind of full back should be the other way around about, surely. Tavernier going on the outside, and I think they're kind of getting each other's way out there. Matondo will still come good right enough, but I wouldn't surprise me if he played right out there.
Well, can I say something?
Yes, mate.
Regarding what we're talking about, the Ridvan, I don't think this washes with the language barrier. He's a football player. He's not a translator or anything else. He plays football. And we paid $6 million for him. You don't run about talking to people when you're all right. You play a system. The guy's got talent. He's got to get. And the thing that worries me, and I'm not having a go at him because he's not even been playing. That boy is 5'9". The rest of them are all 6 foot, 2, 3. And to buy a fullback at 5'9", I don't get that. Okay, but we're dreadful with cross balls. Another thing we've learned is that a full-back at 5'9".
I understand where you're going with, but maybe for the system, they want to play with the ball and comfortable on the ball and going forward. They don't look at the same things that you're thinking about. I get where you're coming from. I mean, there'll not be any worse in there than Barisic, will it?
No, but I mean, why we're talking about the language being a problem. It's not a problem. He's not getting played.
No, he obviously can't be ready, mate. And we don't know what it is. Listen, just we've got good news and bad news. What do you want first, Billy?
He's a bad, mate.
Young Alex Lowry's just been stretchered off. Hopefully it's nothing too serious. And it's 7-0 at the moment with a few minutes to go for the young B team against Dumbarton. 7-0 goals for Lowry. Lowry penalty, McCann, Lovelace, Lowry, Aaron Lowry and Stephen Kelly. So good and bad news, Port there.
Aye, I hope every man's alright, Oxdear. I know he's not really been running much of the first team this year so far. I just think it's just we've brought in a lot of quality in Tillman and Lawrence, which obviously plays in his position. I just think he's been unfortunate with the signing we've made. I hope the young man's alright, mate. It's a great score for the lads, the B team, mate. Great score.
Aye, and I think he's doing his pre-season in the B team and he's now back involved with the first team. I think that's some of the point that you were trying to make, Billy, for Carlo at the start when you came in, yeah?
No, I think that's what the road should have been doing with Morelos instead of, like I said before, many times I think he's panicked and there's nobody else. See, Lovely scored again, you know.
Aye,
you don't try these guys you don't know. He's surely worth a place on the bench.
Well, with 9 subs, but I just think I don't. When I've watched him, mate, and I did watch him against Queen's Park and somebody else, I just think there is a big gap between what they're playing in and what they're trying to inspire. I just don't know if he's ready, mate. You know, but you never know, mate.
No, you never know.
You never know, mate.
That'll be Derek Johnson right enough, won't there?
There's no many Derek Johnsons, is there?
Oh no. Right, I'll cut out, lads, anyway, and let you go on it.
Right, thanks, mate. It was a great call. Good to hear
Superb.
from you, mate.
Right, well, I'll see you again soon, lads. Cheers, mate.
All right, cheers, mate.
Brilliant, mate. Cheers, all the best, mate.
Right.
Cheers. Right, must be your turn for the broadband, Alex.
Sorry?
Must be your turn for the broadband.
I actually David shut up here. Sir, just we're talking about the wee cut there, £6 million, right? Let's not be kidding. He should be in the team. If he's fit, he should be playing. You don't fork out £6 million. And Davey's quite right about the language side of it. The boy, he should be there. I've said before about the defence, away at the beginning, about James Sands, and to be quite truthful, the fella's proved me wrong. The only thing I've got, he isn't a left-sided centre-back, he's a centre midfield boy. That's how I see it. And he's come in there. But we've got some predicament here with all these injuries. The boys come in there, but it's no ideal getting into European football for the chop and change and all that. The only thing about the wee Turk boy is give Bonner a bit of competition now, and he's looked not too bad. I think he's upped his game a bit. He's upped his game a wee bit, so that way.
When we signed Red Fan, mate, did you think that was the end for Bonner? Did you think there was a chance he could have went out the door?
I honestly thought the boy was there. I thought the boy was there to play right away in Bonner. I honestly thought if somebody had come in with a reasonable fee for him, he'd been away, because he really wasn't. He wasn't top of his game then. But the competition now has probably helped him. These are the games in Europe, because if he gets set pieces in that and puts the crosses over, that's where we'll get some joy from. That's a good thing about him. So here's hoping we can get a result in that tomorrow. But I hope we can do it. But at the first game there, yourselves in that, and you've seen they're a good football team as well. They're not the best that we've played in Europe. But the thing is, they can play, they can attack. Slightly their defence, that's their probably negative side, is the same with us. But we've got to shoot. We've got to learn to shoot inside the box. And the guys that will do that is probably Lundstrom and Tom Lawrence and Tillman. Tillman, if we get a chance. And if Ryan Kent can beat one or two men and just shoot, instead of trying to beat another man and cut inside, we've got a chance.
All right, okay. You're right. If you don't shoot, you don't score. Port Bear asked Tom Lawrence last week.
It's definitely it's a lottery, and as I touched on when I was on the phone to a person the other day, your old pal Ricochet, Tom Lawrence against PSV. If he doesn't take that strike, mate, it finishes 2-1. I think it's just an absolute lottery when you take shots. There's a chance it can take deflection and get to the opposite corner. I think it's massively important, mate. We play a possession-based game, and this is one of the reasons I think Ridvan, although he's 5'9", this is why he's been bought, mate, because he's good with the ball on his deck. He's lightning quick. He is strong in tackle. I've seen him quite a few times now, having done the Ports reports here. I'm watching a lot more games than I usually would, in different, even more leagues, which I enjoy anyway. But I think in the system we will eventually play under Gio, mate, and Billy Nat touched on it. We are going to have good quality. When they're all back fit, we're going to have good quality in pretty much all our positions and good competition, which is only going to benefit Rangers in the long term. And I do agree with Alex Fubisho as well in regards to Bonner and yourself as well. I think Bonner probably thought himself he was out the door when they paid £6 million for a guy to take his place. But Bonner seems to have kicked on next year, and thought,
lovely cross on Saturday, wasn't it?
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful cross, mate. But we know Bonner's got that one day left foot. Everyone who's on this panel tonight, everybody listening to the show tonight, all know what Bonner's quality is. He's one day left foot, mate. He can put the ball on a 10p, mate. He could do it. And this is the sort of quality we're going to need for both flanks, in my opinion, tomorrow night, mate. We're going to need Bonner, Tav to be right on it. I'm excited to see if we go with Tillman, Lawrence and Kent. I'd like to see a lot of movement for them three, mate. Kent and Tillman at times switching. Lawrence even get it to the right or left and let Kent come in through middle, or Tillman.
Would you do that? Would you put Lawrence on the right and put Tillman in the middle, mate?
Well, that could, I think them two can switch, mate. I really think them two can switch, and depending on what situation develop on the outside, the outside of the box, because Tillman, as we've realised, is a salmon, mate. So he's great in the air, which again, something that Rangers have not had in the forward line for a long, long time, is someone that's got a leap on them and good, strong in the air. So I get Tillman closer to Cholak and Lawrence out in the right. I don't think I'd be first either way, but in our fluid system, mate, I think there's room for a lot of movement there. Really, there. I think they could interchange, which would be very, very difficult, because you know what it's like when you're marking your man, and every minute, 1 minute you're faced with Kent, Lawrence, Tillman, different situations, different systems, mate. And I think we need to use it because we've got a cracking. That's a cracking front forward four, mate, in my opinion.
All right, leaps like a salmon, Billy. I thought he'd lost the place again there. Carry on, Billy, in you come.
I didn't get me started talking about salmon. No, listen, Port, you're bang on, mate. It'd be great to see they three playing there with Kolach up front, mate, because you're bang on. You're 110% bang on, mate. They can switch. They can switch. Even Kent could drop into number 10 role, mate.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? It's constantly giving the guys something to think about, mate. You know what I mean? They didn't know, right, hold on the nude, who do you pick up this time, right? Because if you start playing, for talking say Tillman down one side and Kent down the other, and you've got Tom Lawrence for talking say in the middle, it becomes predictable. And the defenders know exactly what they're doing, you know what I mean? You're not making them think. Whereas if you've got these three players switching about constantly, you're pulling the players or the defenders all about the park, and they didn't know. It's keeping them guessing all the time. They didn't know where, right, I'll mark him, do a man mark him, do a drop off. Then if they drop off, maybe Kent switches you there, and they didn't know where to stick a twist. So I think it's a fantastic idea, mate. You know what I mean? So you're bang on, Port. Bang on, buddy.
Don't tell him that.
What do you think yourself, Alex? What will your team? What would your starting 11 be?
I think,
your reasons.
I think McLaughlin will play tomorrow night because that's the way he's went. But there's an argument, for McGregor. Always there's an argument for him. But I think he'll start. I think Tav and Golson pick herself. Sands and Bonner pick herself as well. The way we are at the moment. And then you're into the midfield. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think I would go with. See, this is the trouble. If you start talking about Ryan Jack and Glenn Kamara, you're basing it on last season, Alex. We wish off that makes sense, yeah. But if you talk about Ryan Jack Saturday, you're lucky to go on the bench, wouldn't he?
Definitely. I just can't see that. I can't see the two.
So if I was picking the team on form this now, it would be Lundstrom and Davis, and I don't think the modern night suits Davis, and I'll tell you why. I think he prods as he moves us about the park when he's on the ball, but the problem you've got for Stephen is he's not as quick or he's not as young as he used to be, so people run after him, and it's going to be a game where you're going to have to track runners when we're defending situations. Yeah. But his intelligence when we're in possession will never let you down. So because of the selection dilemma we've got is you play they two, and then you couldn't play Kamara in front of him because that's not his natural position. So if you think you were going to play Kamara tomorrow night, he would need to go and play where Davis is, and then you can play Lawrence and Tillman in front of him. Kent plays himself, and if Kent plays him tomorrow night and he does as a Dortmund performance, we go through. But he's no on for him. You've got to play Krolak because you've nobody else, and then you're out on the right side. Billy, I wouldn't play Scotty Arfield because he's no legs, mate. Honestly, I wouldn't play him. I think it's going to be a game. I think there might be a place and a time where he might come on and influence a game. So who do you play tomorrow night? I wouldn't play Matondo. I would play Scott Wright, even though only because I think we're limited, and that would be my team. You know, and there's a lot of players in there that aren't the first choice. What?
Who have you got in the 10 position, Oxshire? Sorry.
I'd Kolak, and I would Wright, Kent, Tillman.
Yeah, right, cool.
Yeah, yep. Then you've got Lawrence to come on, and we don't know how fit he is because of
Yep. Mm-hmm. I know. Again, Tillman is before the Hibs match, mate. He was influencing Rangers in a big way. Gio did try him in his first few games he was playing. He tried him on the left, tried him on the right when Kent was having a wee rest. And I think the best we've saw him, like you touched on, mate, was closer to Kolak playing that 10 role. I think that's the best we've seen him. I think his movement, his touch, his eye for a pass, mate. He's a killer, an absolute killer. And I mean that in different ways, by the way. I mean, a guy can really hurt teams. And I think that's where we're going to rely on the big man heavily tomorrow night, mate, for his influence and his creativity.
I know, but I mean, Scott Wright, I think will come in. I think Gio prefers him to Fashion Sakala, if that makes sense. Davey?
Well, I've got a different opinion on that one. I'd Wright come backtracks, but so does Sakala. I think actually the more our energy levels have to go up a lot on big notch. You've got to compete with him for more than 90, because I think it's going to go the distance, this one. And we've got to cut out the mistakes. If we can do that, we're in a great shout. But we have to up the level of our energy levels, because if you look at the last games, we're very lethargic looking. Doesn't matter who you play. If you're not all playing at the same hymn sheet, it'll not work.
Aye, can't argue, mate. Can't argue. We're like a jigsaw with a few pieces missing, if that makes sense, Billy.
Yep. Bang on, mate. Davies, bang on and all. Ox, our energy levels have got to give everything. We've got to leave every single thing out in the park tomorrow night, mate. Individually and collectively. Subs, when they come on, mate, they've got to be ready to come on and give everything as well during the period. And I do think it'll go right to the wire, this one, mate. I don't think it'll be over 90 minutes. I can see it being a squeaky bummer. I can even see it maybe even going to penalty kicks, mate. So be prepared. Be prepared, Bears in the panel and all the teddy bears listening into with one eye but from behind the couch, because this game's going to be an absolute cracker tomorrow night.
By the way, I'm glad you said that, but like, you see the first game, see if you actually watched it, it was a right good game of football, Alex, we were sure, wasn't it?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely brilliant. Just to get in there and watch two teams at it. First class.
Unusual for it, isn't
it? Unusual for to see us like that. What I will say is, I agree with you, but Stevie Davis, to me, I know he's not got the legs in that Oxford, but see the calmness and the experience he's got. I think that's going to have a lot to do with it tomorrow night. ideal world, because we're all chopping and changing there, and as you say, it's like a jigsaw. We don't know who to play. Normally we would have about 11 or 12 players. We'd all probably go on the same hymn sheet. Just shows you how we're looking at the team and we're not too sure who's fit and who's not. See, if it had been right, I'd love to have seen Sands in the middle of the park, because that's one thing about the boy. American boy, they're coached and they're super fit, and that's probably what we'll need in the middle of the park is the legs. But the problem is in defence, we've nobody to get into centre back. They laughed at me last week when I brought up Leon King way back, and I thought that's the ideal opportunity to play the boy. But everybody's like, no, he's inexperienced in that. And my bit was, well, if you look back, you say Derek Johnson, but there's only one Derek Johnson. But Danny Wilson went in at centre back. He went along with Davy Weir, 18 years age in a European game, and the boy after that, his career kicked off. That was me. We were talking about it last week. So that's what I'm more with James Sands. He's doing a right good job for us there. But if we'd a proper centre left fielded, he'd have been ideal in the centre and midfield, that laddie.
Aye, listen, James Sands, arguably, as I said, the last two games has been maybe my best player of the piece. I take your point on Stephen Davis. You know what I think of Stephen Davis, the footballer. I just think that sometimes because of where he is in his career, mate, people can get away from him and he can't get back. But if you're talking about reading the game and probing and controlling the ball and doing the right decisions, there's no many better than Stephen Davis, Portmare.
No, definitely not, mate. I think when it comes down to controlling, the tempo, our team, David, he dictates that, mate. You've seen it. I mean, the pass he made at the weekend, to put Tav in for the cross was incredible. He's definitely, as you always say on here, mate, he's a Rolls Royce of a footballer. I just don't think. I think we're going to need legs, mate. I think we'll need running power against this team in midfield. We've seen their movement, we've seen their touch, running power, their passing ability, mate. They were passing us to death at times at Ibrox. But listen, mate, they've got 18 goals in 5 games, but they've also conceded 9. They play a very high line, and I think which proves to me there's space behind Oxford. I think we can really, really hurt them. And it's not to say Davis won't have an impact in the game at some point next year, because we might very well need his experience at some point to take the sting out of the game, to calm the game down, or indeed to go and get them killer passes. He's also capable to open defences. That's how I think it's very important to have, Tillman, Lawrence, Kent. They've got space to exploit, mate, in behind that team. And as like I touched on, 9 goals conceded, mate. They can be got at. They're not defensively as sound as they are going forward.
Aye, and obviously they've got a weakness in their goalkeeper who likes throwing them in the back of the net, Billy.
Indeed.
Correct, mate. That's what you call a squiggler, that one, mate. I could not believe that one trickled out of the line. But listen, not all saying you don't shoot, you don't score, Ox. You know what I mean? And we've been guilty of that, let's say, over the last season or so, even 2 seasons, shooting enough, mate. You've got to hear a pop. Anything can happen when you hear a shot at goal, mate. You know what I mean? It can come off the keeper. It can happen exactly what happened to the keeper. It can take a ricochet in the box. It can gun off somebody. You can get a penalty kick out it. Anything can happen, mate. And I want to see us shooting more as well, mate. Definitely. And we've got the players there now that it's no fear to hit a wee pop. You know what I mean? Your Ryan Kents, your Tom Lawrences, and your Tillmans and whatnot. You know what I mean? They like to a wee pop and go. And listen, a crucial thing tomorrow night in Ox, we've got to get service into Big Coleman, mate. That's a must. We've got to get, when we get into good areas of the field, we've got to get service, mate.
Coleman, he's mustered up front, isn't he?
Aye, mate, but as I said, Ox, we've got to get, I think it was Porter touched on Barisic with his one day left foot and Tavernier down the right. They've got to be right on it tomorrow night and all, mate, and get service into this big man, because if he gets service into the box for the big man, he'll put that ball away. That's a gimme.
Aye, Alec, you've seen him live more than most. He's an intelligent runner, eh?
Definitely. The big guy gets the service, he'll score goals. As he's running off the ball and the angles he creates, he's just not the service. But here's hoping tomorrow night we can do something. And as I say, I'm more positive now. When I came out of the game, the 2-8 game in that quarter, we lost the late goal. I thought, this has got to be uphill. We go over to Eindhoven, but as times went on, I know really because of Saturday's game and that, we shouldn't really give him all this confidence, but because of European football, everybody knows how good we can be in that. And let's just hope the team can do it tomorrow night.
Yeah. Right, a wee score prediction for you, Davy?
Very difficult. If we can keep them at bay for the first 20 minutes and keep the game alive, I'll go 1-0 for Rangers.
I'm going for 3-2, Bobby Russell to get the winner. Billy?
Showing your age here, Ox. No, mate, I'm going to really throw a cat amongst the pigeons here, mate. I'm going for 3-3 and penalty kicks, mate.
Billy, I don't know if I could take that.
Rangers to win in penalty kicks, mate.
Oh. I've not recovered from me. Port?
I'm going for a 2-1 victory to Rangers, Oxford.
Oh, thank God. Carry on.
I think it'll be after extra time later off. I think it'll be 2-1. It'll be tight. It'll be tight. A tight game, mate. But Rangers will prevail. And I think what's going to help us tomorrow is for experience in these European ties, mate. I think it's going to go. It takes a long way. I think we've done last year's forgot about, yes, but the amount of experience we've got from that run next year, I could just see us just get this one over the line. Tough night, but 2-1 victory.
Alex?
I love it, by the way. I love Davies 1-0. I love you 3-2. And I love both there's 2-1. But I'm going to go with Billy here. I think it's going to go. I think it'll be 1 each. Extra time of 1 in penalties.
Oh, dear.
So Bill again. All I think we'll keep it victors this time.
Right, okay. Listen, I hope you're right, Alex. I could take it if you're right, mate. Right, listen.
I hope so.
We've reached that time of the evening. Alex, always a pleasure, mate.
It's a pleasure, my pleasure. Thanks very much. Brilliant show.
I would love to say the same to you, Davey, but I can't tell a lie, mate. Davey, you know we love you. We know you.
No, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure. I love this show. It's brilliant. Everybody that's on it's a star.
Cheers, mate. Billy, shout out.
Listen, mate, what can I say, mate? It's been 2 hours of absolute madness. Some brilliant comments, mate. Some crazy comments. Some brilliant banter. Typical Rangers Radio, mate. It's fantastic to listen to. Some fantastic callers, mate. Thanks to yourself again, mate, for asking me onto the panel. And a big shout out to my wee mucker across there, the wee Portster. Thanks very much, mate. Brilliant as usual, mate.
Yes, some fishy but used to put
I know, echo that, by the way. Thanks very much, Oxford. Great night, brilliant show again. Best show is, in my opinion, best show out there for Rangers content. Been a great night. Thanks to all the callers that's phoned in, mate, definitely as well. And I'll be looking forward to a good 2-1 victory tomorrow and Rangers getting through, mate.
Yeah, is it an 8 o'clock kick-off tomorrow night before I think it is, isn't it? Yeah?
Aye, yep.
Aye, okay. All right.
Yep.
Listen, can I thank all the Willies that phoned in tonight? The 2 Willies. Billy. Willis, of course, Commander who came on and gave us a point about the refereeing. Alex, old Davey, great to hear for everybody. Port and Billy for doing the show. Fox and Old School Blue for doing the technicals. Everybody in Facebook and YouTube are listening to the show and all the other platforms. This has been Rangers Radio. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock with a pre-match show building up to a big game. Thanks for listening. Stay safe. Enjoy your evening. Take it away. Old School Boy.
Today, forever and for always, we are Rangers through and through. Well, the legends legends grow, but Rangers live on just the same. For a new one's born when the blue shirts won, and we all remember their name. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always, we are Rangers through and through. And there is no doubt what we're all about when we face the world and say, bring it on some more, 'cause you know for